Te Rua o Te Moko, Fiordland, is a place like no other. This stunning landscape was carved out by glaciers around 20,000 years ago. Also known as Atawhenua, the Shadowlands, this unique environment is home to a huge variety of plants and animals. Fourteen fiords make up Te Rua o Te Moko. In Māori tradition, after Aoraki came the Atua Tū Taraki Whānoa, and with a great adze he carved out the fiords to make the land habitable to people. The richness of Mahinga Kai and Pounamu resources attracted Māori to the fiords, and there were many seasonal settlements and ara or trails throughout the region. Today, Fiordland makes up the largest national park in Aotearoa, and one of the largest in the world. The park's scenery, with its deep fiords, lakes, mountains, and waterfalls, make it a popular tourist destination. Often visitors to the area look in awe at the thick rainforest, steep cliffs, and waterfalls dropping into deep fiords, but few get to see or appreciate what lies below the surface of the water. The Fiordland Marine Area is not part of the national park, and it wasn't always looked after. Since 2005, the Fiordland Marine Guardians have set out to protect this area. Rebecca is a scientist and chair of the Fiordland Marine Guardians.
I'm lucky enough to be one of the appointed Marine Guardians for this incredible place. We came into being in 2005. There's 8 of us, and our role is to look after the Fiordland Marine area. So everything from the high tide line right down to the deepest, darkest depths of the deep basins.
The Guardians also work with other agencies like Te Papa Atawhai, the Department of Conservation, to care for this special area. Richard runs the marine program for DOC.
I'm a senior ranger in the biodiversity team here in Fiordland, and I look after the marine environment. So I look after the marine mammals and all the legislation that we have there. I look after all of the monitoring, and I'll help to work with the biosecurity that we have, looking after things like undaria and trying to stop marine pests from coming into the fjord. So I've got quite a varied role. I guess what makes Fiordland special for me is the habitat itself, you know, the uniqueness of the mountains and the sea, and the way that the sort of environment, the terrestrial environment and the sea environment sort of mix together.
To protect Fiordland, you need to understand what makes it unique. This is a land shaped by ice and water. During the last ice age, glaciers descended from the mountains, carving through rock and bulldozing their way to the coast. Once these glaciers melted back, the U-shaped valleys they left behind were filled with seawater. The waters of the fjords are a mix of fresh and salt water, creating a very unusual environment. If you have been to Fiordland, you will know that it rains a lot. The northern parts of Fiordland can receive over 7 metres of rain a year, and it is this rain that makes the marine area special. Fresh water soaking down through the forest floor absorbs tannins from decaying leaf matter. This brown water drains down into the fjords, where it floats as a dark layer of fresh water above the denser salt water from the Tasman Sea. The waters here are so dark that creatures which normally live in the deep ocean can survive here. Adding to these unusually dark waters, there is little mixing between the open ocean and the inland waters of the fjords. This has led to a unique mix of weird and wonderful creatures, including red and black corals. Strangely, black corals appear white, but were named after their black skeleton. Sponges, anemones and fragile sea pens also live here. Despite looking more like plants, all of these curious creatures are in fact animals, and they have all adapted to life in these deep, dark fjords. Out at the fjord entrances and along the outer coast, conditions are very different and much more dynamic, with wave action mixing the fresh and salt water and allowing more sunlight through the water. Seaweeds flourish. Koura, rock lobster and paua graze the rocks, and there are large fish communities. The outer fjords are home to special inhabitants such as terehu, bottlenose dolphins, kekanol, New Zealand fur seals, and tawaki, Fiordland crested penguins. On a lucky day, you may even see whales which swim by where the continental shelf comes close to the coast. Along with tourists, scientists are also attracted to Fiordland, and there is still a lot left to discover.
We probably know more about the water around Antarctica than we do about Fiordland. Every time we go and look with a ROV, a remote operated vehicle, every time people go and, clever people come and dive in the fjords, we find more species or species that we didn't even know existed. So trying to understand some of the ecosystems that you get in the fjords, and that's why I guess it's one of the coolest places to be able to spend time.
James is a professor of marine biology at Te Herenga Waka, Victoria University of Wellington. He has been working in Fiordland.
My research in Fiordland is largely focused on black corals. Now, black corals are an iconic species in Fiordland. They're generally found in very deep waters, but because of the unusual conditions in Fiordland, we find them in as shallow as 5 metres. My research focuses on a number of different things, and we're trying to understand the distribution patterns of black corals, why they're found in different places and not in other places, and also how they're impacted by humans, and particularly the effects of fishing, that's both recreational and commercial, and also the impacts of climate change and marine heat waves.
It's difficult to study creatures that grow deep underwater. Specialist boats and equipment are needed. Recently, New Zealand and German scientists worked together on board the RV Zona to look deep below the surface. Using a remotely operated vehicle, scientists could see and record Fiordland's vibrant deepwater coral communities like never before. This technology is helping scientists to understand changes over time and monitor the impacts of human activity. Alongside other science research projects, this mahi shows just how special Fiordland is and why we need to look after it. It's hard to appreciate the grandeur and special nature of Fiordland without experiencing it firsthand. Yet, it isn't easy to access most of the fjords within Fiordland. The two most visited are Piotahi, Milford Sound, and Patia, Doubtful Sound. You can drive to Milford Sound, while getting to Doubtful Sound involves a boat trip across Lake Manapori, followed by a bus trip to Deep Cove. It's quite the journey. Patia means the sound of silence, And you can imagine just how quiet this place would have been before Europeans arrived. Partia is the deepest fjord at 434 metres deep, and it offers a special experience to visitors. Laura is a nature guide with Real NZ, and she's been coming here for years.
So pretty passionate about Fiordland. I've been guiding in it for about the last 15 to 20 years. And the reason is you look around and it's exciting to get people from all corners of the world amped about such a special place that's on our back door. So probably some of my highlights with working in Fiordland is the wildlife that you get to see. No 2 days are ever the same. You've got beautiful sunshine, a day like today where we've got the waterfalls screaming, 60 knots of wind, and then a standout for me is when you see especially the children that have never had the opportunity to be on boats or just be in a completely unique environment, and seeing the kids come alive and get excited about what lives in Fiordland and what a fantastic place it is, and then that going forward makes them want to look after it for generations to come.
Deep Cove Outdoor Education Trust have a hostel here, and Mike McManus is chair of the trust.
I've been involved with Deep Cove for nearly 20 years, and over that time we've seen countless children come through the place, numbering in the thousands. What makes the Deep Cove experience different to many others is this camp focuses on the natural environment and all aspects of the Fiordland marine environment, including how we impact on it.
Some of the highlights of my camp so far have been fishing and doing the walks. It's been really fun to experience out in nature and see how our world works.
Okay, so this is my drinking bottle. You know, I borrow my water bottle for this experiment. No, you give everyone a taste. Okay, have a drink. It's all good.
Right, I'm taking 3, okay?
My highlights of the camp were definitely the Real NZ cruise. I really enjoyed that. The waves and the rain and the wind of all of it made the experience more fun. Sometimes you can see whales and dolphins. Sometimes whales come into Deep Cove. They rise up into the freshwater layer because it kills bacteria off their bodies because the bacteria isn't used to it. So that's really smart of them.
We're really lucky to be here with all our mates. I've really enjoyed just exploring Deep Cove, all the big walks down to waterfalls and exploring the fjords. And I've learnt that it's really crazy, but every 5 seconds the Manapuri power station pumps in a whole Olympic swimming pool of fresh water into the fjord.
To protect this place, I think we should definitely remember about like the fishing, like taking just what we need, and also like picking up after ourselves, making sure we don't leave any rubbish or anything like that here.
Despite the special nature of Fiordland, it is at risk from human activity.
Fiordland faces a bunch of threats. One of the things is, overfishing in the fjords, and things like marine pests which have come in. We have the Aventure program which has been running for a number of years, and climate change, and it's things like marine heat waves or warming waters and ocean acidification which potentially become a real big threat to us.
Aventure is an invasive kelp that came to New Zealand back in the 1980s. It gets carried on the hulls of ships and in ballast water, and so you find it throughout most of the main ports and harbours around New Zealand. Unfortunately, in 2010 it was discovered in Fiordland, just in one wee spot, and since then it's gone on to grow and grow. It's really easy to identify Aventure because they have this really long spine that runs down the middle of them. So they're really distinctive compared to our native seaweeds. We're really worried about the impact that Aventure can have on the incredible, unique native ecosystem under the water here in Fiordland. We've got so many iconic features in Fiordland, like black corals and the red corals, but also just on the rock walls, these beautiful native seaweed communities. And the problem with Undaria is it grows so quickly and so thickly that it shades out all the other animals underneath it. All it took for Undaria to get here was one hull that had an Undaria plant growing on it in this area. So what you can do about it is, if you are lucky enough to go in a boat, ask the skipper or the owner of that boat if they have taken the time to make sure that the hull of their vessel is clean. One of the biggest challenges with dealing with invasive species underwater is that you can't see them. So what we really need is everybody's eyes to be part of the solution. So when you're out and you see something that you haven't seen before, or you just don't think it looks quite right, just tell someone. There's these amazing 0800 lines you can call, take a note of where you are, take a photo of what you've seen if you can, and report it.
I guess as more and more people start to come to the fjords, more and more people start to want to fish or want to spend time around things like marine mammals.
I think one of the bigger challenges for Fiordland, and especially this area here with the likes of Doubtful Sound and some of the southern fjords, is maintaining that understanding around what lives here and how to look after those resources. It is a finite amount. I think it's widely understood more so what happens above the water, but what happens below the surface is a lot less understood. So putting some education and thought into how we protect those resources, I think, especially for generations to come, is a challenge that needs to be addressed as well.
So what else can be done to protect Fiordland's marine area?
One of the really special features of Fiordland and the way that we manage the place is that we have 10 marine reserves, and these are scattered throughout the extent of Fiordland in all different kinds of environments. So here we are at Moana Uta. It stands for like inland sea. And this whole fjord of Wet Jacket Arm is a marine reserve. And you can tell you're in a marine reserve because we have these incredible popo which stand as kaitiaki over the marine protected areas. And they've all been designed and carved by carvers from Oraka Aparima Runaka down in Muriheku, Southland.
Monitoring projects have been set up to see what impact marine reserves are having on fish numbers. Baited underwater cameras have captured footage of a variety of key species, including great white sharks. These cameras will give scientists a much better understanding of how fish numbers are affected by marine reserves and changes in fishing rules.
With the Marine Act that came in 2005 with the Fiordland Marine Guardians, we're part of one of the agencies that looks after the whole marine environment. We're charged with the legislation of looking after the marine reserves. We're also in charge of all of the marine mammal legislation, so looking after our dolphins and our whales and making sure that people behave themselves around them. We look after what we can to make sure that it's there for future generations to enjoy.
The Fiordland Guardians approach is really amazing because it's all about the community coming together to figure out how best to look after this place that they know and love, the best out of anyone. We carry this amazing vision, is that that Fiordland in the future will be just as wonderful as it is now, or maybe even better for future generations like you guys to come in and use and enjoy it.
Most people who have been to Fiordland can appreciate just how special this place is. And everyone visiting the fjords has a part to play in protecting them. Fishing sustainably, maintaining strict biosecurity measures, and leaving no trace so that generations to come can also enjoy this unique environment.